He closed his eyes. Will you say it again? He asked, almost shyly. Will you tell me what I am? You're an angel, she repeated slowly, surprised to see Daniel close his eyes and moan in pleasure, almost as if they were kissing. I'm in love with an angel. Now she was the one who wanted to close her eyes and moan.
Dayelle, that might be some of the best writing in the history of the universe. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Anytime.
That's a good one. So Amanda, what are we doing today?
No. Okay. You and our intern Lisbeth talked me into this.
We did. That is true. We did. So today we are doing Fallen. It is a novel. It's actually a series of books.
How many do we think?
I think it's 6 books.
Okay.
I believe. I've only read the first in the series. This book came out in 2009, and it is written by Lauren Kate. And, I guess we can just jump on in and let's start with our cocktail today, because we definitely need a cocktail.
I wish that the cocktail was just arsenic.
Yeah.
But it's The Shadows, and it's a black margarita. You're going to take your
perfectly named.
Absolutely. Some tequila, lime juice, orange liqueur, some agave syrup, and you add activated charcoal to the drink to make it look black. And then you rim the glass with black lava salt, which is a really, it's a very, very salty salt that you usually use on, I've done it on watermelon margaritas to cut the sweetness. It's really good. Just hoping it kills me at that point, really, is what I'm hoping. No. Okay. So here's the thing.
So cheers.
Cheers to that. May it be plentiful. I'm just going to jump off here and say, I think the book is a great YA book, right?
Fair.
I could tear through this series if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Right.
But I could.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first book.
Yeah. Okay, so let's set the scene a little bit for anyone that's never read this book, because I feel like there's probably going to be almost all of the people.
It's very paranormal-y.
It's very paranormal, but setting the scene, this is a story of this girl who ends up in a school for kind of like the
Wayward Children.
Yeah.
Luce. Her name's Lucinda. Luce Price.
Yes. And she ends up there after a horrific accident with fire. And you don't really know the premise. You just see her. You don't see her. You're reading the story. There's a fire involved and someone is dead because of what she thinks is her fault.
They were in a cabin getting it on.
Yes. Well, they were going to get it on.
Yes.
That doesn't happen. But so then this kind of follows her going to the school, and right off the bat, you meet this very mysterious guy, and he's very nice, very friendly. You also meet some other characters pretty quickly, and you don't know if you like them or you hate them, which is intentional.
Sure.
And then you are introduced to the other main character, and he is very mysterious, and you don't understand the connection between Luce and this other character. His name is Daniel.
But she feels it right away.
She feels it immediately.
She's like, I know this guy.
They lock eyes, and pretty quickly he is kind of an asshole to her. Yep. He just sticks the middle finger out at her, and that is that. And she's very confused by it, doesn't understand why he hates her. He's never met her. She's never met him. But she has this underlining, she feels like she knows him and knows him very well, and she doesn't know why. And so this is kind of where it starts. And then just, things start happening, and she's always followed by these black shadows that will just kind of swirl around her. They never touch her, but they swirl around her, and she doesn't understand them. She doesn't know what they do, but she's afraid of them. And she thinks that the fire in the beginning of the story potentially was caused because
she saw the shadows prior to it.
And it seems to be the shadows appear right before something terrible happens. But she doesn't know what they are, doesn't understand them, blah, blah, blah. So her parents, send her to school.
Sword and Cross.
Yeah, they think that's the best place for her. It's pretty close to her house. So like in theory, she could go home on weekends and stuff. Well, that's not the case.
Yes, she's from Savannah.
Yeah.
And this is also somewhere in Georgia,
Yes.
it seems like.
Yeah, like in the wooded area. Which,
Yeah.
So, I mean, like now that we have the scene set,
Okay. So Cam is the first boy that shows her a little bit of attention right off the bat. He's very charming.
he's
very
kind of a bad boy though. He's got the
Yeah, he does whatever he wants. He's he can get whatever he wants into the school, and this is supposed to be like very lock and key.
Yeah.
This is like a boarding school for kids that are essentially, this is not juvie. They get this option instead of juvie.
Yeah, this is like troublesome kids.
Unless you're watching the show and or movie,
Yeah.
which are two entirely, one's a psycho hospital, one is just a boarding school. So
Yeah, I feel like that's a great way to tie it because like we just have to dive right into both of them because if you've read the book or you plan to read the book, don't go into watching the movie or the show expecting the book. The movie is closer to the book, but close is a very loose word, and you will be disappointed. Because the movie came out, I don't know what year the movie came out. Was it like 2009 as well, or was it later?
2000, I think it was like 2012 or 14.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up, but it was
So-
a few years after.
Yeah, and I was pretty excited about this movie because I had read the book and I enjoyed it. It was like it was an easy read. It was fantasy. It was very sweet.
I apologize. 2016.
Okay. Oh my. Okay. Well, so 2016. So I didn't know that it had come out. I had not even heard that they were making a movie out of it. I stumbled on this movie on Netflix. It was one of those Netflix, like you could watch it on stream, whatever. So I watched it and I was like, wow, that was something. I didn't know what the something was the first time I saw it, but I was so excited that they had made it into a movie because I did enjoy the book. But the movie left a lot to be desired.
So one of the things, and I'll say right off the bat, she befriends this girl, Penelope, who has not done anything wrong. Her
No.
father was the groundskeeper there, and he has since passed away. And this is book version, right?
Yes.
So she's a bookworm, keeps to herself. She's never done anything bad. So these kids must be terrifying to her. I mean, they're getting tased, beat.
Yeah.
Like some of them are rough and tough.
Well, that's more in you don't get that so much in the book. You get that more in the
Oh no,
movie
you get
and
it in the
show.
book. I totally got it in the book. I mean, like some of those kids have done some serious crimes.
Yeah.
And when she pulls up in the book,
Yeah.
she sees someone getting in trouble. In the show, in the movie, when she pulls up, she sees a girl basically getting beat by grown men.
Yeah.
That is not how it is in the book.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like I definitely saw it as like you're not corporal punishment, but
Yeah.
like you are dealing with some serious messed up kids here.
Yeah. I think they try to set that scene in the movie and in the show more than the book. The book is much more like this is where you'll go to therapy daily. This is where you'll be medicated. More in the like she doesn't really know what's going to happen when she gets to this school, and she has a very different like expectation of this place than what actually is the reality.
See, I got more that this school is kind of like a place that gets a shit ton of money from the state, and they give the
Interesting.
kids like little to nothing.
Yeah.
Like in the show and the movie, they have uniforms.
Yeah.
In the book, it's just you have to wear black clothing.
Yeah.
The food is awful.
Yeah.
The, dorms are like a shitty college dorm. Like if you went to a community college and it had a dorm room,
Yeah.
it's like it hasn't been updated in years and years.
Well, I believe it was some type of like monastery before they took it over. So there's churches and there's dorms. And I think,
Which I kind of love the idea that there's this giant pool in a church.
Yeah.
That sounded incredible to me.
it gives you like a very gothic feel.
Yes,
which
definitely.
you don't really get. Okay, so the movie, you get that gothic feel. I think in the show, it's a gritty, like the way they film it, it has that like darker look to it, but it's not the same as the movie version, I don't think.
See,
it's just done differently.
Yeah, the show is more, and we talk about this a little bit before we were recording. The show, it's on Sundance. It's happening right now.
Or AMC. That's where I watched it.
Oh yeah, but it's a Sundance production.
Yes, it is.
You right off the bat get these guards that are dressed like Nazi soldiers in the 40s, screaming in another language. We thought it was German, maybe it's French. We don't know because it's not. But they're not. So we talked about how this is supposed to be set in Georgia. Okay, so then Luce now has an English accent in the movie. Mm-hmm. Penelope is completely American.
Yeah.
Cam is American.
Yeah.
But where are we? Because it's giving very international, like you said, Gothic. Like it's a very like something I would have seen in Ireland and Scotland.
Yeah, I don't think that they want you to know where it's set.
It's insane, is what it is.
That's the vibe I'm getting. I think that they wanted you to kind of feel like you're kind of being put in the place of Luce in this aspect where like you don't know where you're going.
But what? Why the link? I don't understand that. Also, they're like fucking police officers. Like it opens up with tomorrow you're running your half marathon.
Yeah.
There's a drone following them.
Oh, there's
cops on
tons of
ATVs.
drones. Yeah.
Like what?
The guards are very bizarre in the show. They don't quite make sense. There are guards. Like in theory, there are probably guards in the book, and there's definitely in the movie.
But there's
cameras.
It's very different. The guards are more like, what are they called? The Reds.
The Reds,
which is the red light on the camera.
Cameras. Yeah, and I think like obviously to make it more visual, that's probably why they do that for the show and the movie. But what I find really funny is one of the big differences that immediately when I started watching the show. So I had seen the movie quite some time ago, and I've seen it too many times to admit. And the show version of the characters, Luce, she's whatever. She fits the description.
She's kind of just like a nondescript girl.
Yeah.
Like,
the biggest issue that I had with both the movie and the show is that in the book, what happens to Luce's hair is a big part of the plot.
Yeah.
And it is non-existent in the movie and in the show. So in the movie, she has very long, beautiful brown black hair.
She's played by Addison Timlin, who had a child with Jeremy Allen White. You lucky bitch.
Wow, that's
fun fact. They're divorced now, but yes, continue.
And then same thing with the movie. Like her hair is slightly shorter. I mean, the show, it's slightly shorter, but it's still pretty long. So in the book, she gets her hair basically almost like a really, really close
because it's burnt off.
Because it's charred from the fire. And her mom cuts it for her. And it's brought up quite a few times in the book because she always really loved having long hair and it's part of her. And she also has curly hair, which is not in the movie and the show.
No, and I'm so bummed they didn't do that. Also, I said her name was Penelope. It's Pennyweather, which I cannot believe I messed that up because it's like the greatest first name ever.
At first, when you said Penelope, I was like, wow, I don't remember that.
No, it's Pennyweather. It's so good.
Yeah.
But Ariane is the girl that is like the badass. You can tell this girl gets in trouble all the time.
You don't know if you like her or you hate her.
She is just kind of a dick, but also it's like if you befriend her, she's going to fight to the death for you. Like you can already see she's very loyal. She sees the short hair in the book and she's like, I like it, cut it like mine. You can just tell this girl's bipolar. She is like, and she says that. She's like, I am manic right now. I want you to cut it.
Right. And what's interesting about it is in the show, they have that little part.
But she's like, oh, cut my hair. What did she cut 3 inches off? I was like, this is so dumb.
But she's like obsessed with Luce, which is not what you get from the book at all.
And in the show, she's very like timid and kind of weird.
Yeah.
Where in the book, she is a badass.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is like the characters it almost feels like they invented another character and kind of like, watered down certain characters. Some characters don't even exist in the movie or the show, like Luce's best friend who's back at home. She's an important part of she's a very small character, but it's something
very important for her dialogue back home.
Yeah. And I think the other big difference is the parents from the book to the movie to the show are wildly different. In the movie, her parents are not involved at all. You really don't get a taste of the parents. In the show, you get more of the dad, like the dad's in the court. The mom is there too, but you don't really,
she doesn't even talk.
You don't know the situation there. In the book, she's still like her parents, bring her home, have her home before she goes to this school. And then like they have, parent day, they come for parent day. They're very involved in her life, even though she's at this school, because they believe it's what's best for her.
Sure.
And, they're kind of trusting the doctors at this school that they know what they're saying and they're talking about whatever. And I think it's interesting because it's a very small detail in the book, like it's not the main part of the book where it like really drives the story, but it does show that she has a family that loves her. She has a friend that loves her.
That was one of my biggest qualms with both the show and the movie. It's like she has a lot of these kids, their parents have zero interest, like zero. They don't care if they live or die.
Yes.
And it's like, we can't handle them. You can have them.
Yes.
And her parents love her so much. And then you have this whole parents weekend moment where her parents come and they're, just really lovely people. And her best friend back home, she only gets one 15-minute phone call a week. And she cannot wait to call her friend Cassie, or I think it's Cassie. Callie.
Yeah.
And she's like, telling her about Daniel, and there's this boy, and she doesn't know why she's got such a crush on him, but there's this other boy, Cam.
Yeah.
And it's how you get some dialogue about, I'm attracted to both of these dudes. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And
you don't
I
get
don't
that.
know. You get none of that.
No.
And especially Penelope's story.
Yeah.
No, I keep saying
Pennyweather.
Her dad, that's a whole portion of her dad.
Yeah.
And how much she loved him and how he was so excited to be able to give her, this education from his job. And they kept her there.
Yeah.
Which was very nice of them.
They try to give... So they try
in
to
the
give,
show,
yeah,
it's literally, my parents didn't want to deal with me, so they got rid of me. That is literally what she says in the first episode.
In the movie. In the show, her dad is the one that is in the other insane asylum. Her dad is the one that's in he breaks out and he tries to go back.
You're right. Okay, yeah.
The movie,
also,
there's
what did
no
they do
context.
to poor Pennyweather in the show? What was that?
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. There's a lot of very interesting creative freedom that they took. There's also you didn't watch far enough to see this part.
I stopped 2 episodes in of
fair. I was trying to hold out. I did not watch the entire season. Obviously, it's not all out yet, or maybe it is, and I just whatever.
No,
maybe it was canceled. I'm not really sure. But they added elements that are just so bizarre and don't really make any sense. And I'm hoping that maybe they pulled from the other books. Like that's the only thing I can think, that maybe some of the storyline that they're including in this season are actually from other books, because there are characters and villains in the show that do not exist in the book.
So one thing I will say is Miss Sophia is like the librarian who becomes kind of like the safe place for Penn and Luce, and like they can go to the library and they're doing all this information because they need to figure out why is Luce so attracted to Daniel? What is Daniel's story? Luce or Penn, because she's not a bad kid, gets to work in the office, so she knows everyone's file. She knows everything about everyone.
And she has access to
everything. Where Daniel's file's empty.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need to know why. And so they go on this little mission together and they're able to use the library. And that's a huge part, because then there's another fire in the library and this boy Todd, who started the same time as Luce, gets killed in the fire. It's like a whole big thing.
Yeah.
Like who Miss Sophia is I thought they cast her very well in the show.
Yeah.
Like I could totally see that actress as what I saw Miss Sophia in my head.
Yeah.
But she was a little bit too put together in the book. She's kind of a little bit more of a mess and like a little bit more free. And
yeah.
But then why does she have a twin in the show?
It's very bizarre.
I love that actress.
And the character is just different. It's not the same character. And then the fact that she has a twin, there's a lot of weird things. And there's also this underlining, there's a lot of biblical stuff that she does that's not in the book. I think, again, my assumption is that they're trying to pull in the other books into this season to kind of make it more enticing. But it's not more enticing. It's just weird.
Maybe because we haven't read the other books.
Maybe. But here's my other thing, is in the book, you get through the majority of the book before Luce and Daniel have their real first true interaction before he just disappears on her. So there's many interactions where like she's like, oh, finally we're going to have a chance to talk, and then he leaves her. And
they
then
get detention.
Again, he leaves her. Like he doesn't want to be by her. But it's building up this like you're trying to make sense of this. Like he wants to be by her and then he doesn't want to be by her and then he does. It's like back and forth. It's like whiplash. But what's weird is in the movie, it's like the tiniest amount of time where like there's like this, oh, there's a connection, oh, I can't be near you, and then he like draws her a picture and gives it to her at the fountain, and then he like saves her when the statue is gonna fall on her, and then there's the whole cam thing, and he's like he takes her out on a date, and she's wearing this like cool beautiful dress with like combat boots.
Stop right now. The scene, I can't. In the movie, the scene of her on the motorcycle might truly be like, I had to stop the movie and I was like, I don't know.
Just the rain rushing past them.
I just don't know. No, when she takes the motorcycle and she drives it, it is so bad. We talk about in New Moon, the like Twilight cringe. No, this is not cringe. This is so bad.
Yeah, I don't even know who directed the movie. I didn't look
I
into
don't
that,
think anyone did, Dale. I don't think anyone directed it. I don't think it was directed.
But here's the other thing is, with that being said, then after that scene, Daniel and her become like, they're now together because he like comes and rescues her.
Just cannot.
And then they immediately are just like in love, and he rescues her from the library with his, beautiful wings, and they're in love. And then they kiss and you're like, okay. And then that's when Miss Sophia kind of comes in, and she then very quickly you realize like, oh, she's not good. She's going to kill Luce. And then you find out that Lucille, and this is, I feel like they talk about it more in the movie. The show, again, there's no connection whatsoever. There's like not even any talk about this stuff. But in the book, it's brought up twice that she's not baptized. And that's a big part of like, she is basically like on this cycle of every 17 years she comes back, she's reincarnated, and she always finds Daniel. But the difference this time is that she wasn't baptized, but you don't know that that's the difference yet. And so it's kind of like it's brought up where she's like talking to Miss Sophia at one point when she's starting to like make connections because Daniel finally admits to her like all this stuff. You don't get any of that in the movie. It's just, you just kind of like figure all that out, and then it's just like, but you're not baptized, so we have to take you away. And then the movie ends.
And the baptism thing,
the movie ends.
Yeah. Oh, don't I know it? The baptism thing is so important because, Daniel Gregory is a fallen angel.
He's an angel.
He's an angel. And in the book, there's this dreams that she's having where she's touching his wings.
Yeah.
And they're so soft.
Very
they're like
seductive.
velvet. It's so sensual.
Can you say it again, Amanda?
Touching his wings. And none of that shit in the movie. None of it.
None.
And Cam is supposed to be so freaking hot.
Yes.
Like obnoxiously hot.
And he doesn't give up. In the movie, he gives up after the second time. Like Daniel's like, stay away from her.
In the show, he's like, we both love her. Who's going to have her?
I know.
No, that is not what is happening.
Also, he tries to kill himself. I mean, he does.
He does throw himself off that ledge.
But why? What is the point of that?
Like he yeets himself off that thing. And she's probably like, what? Like, am I so repulsive that men just keep setting themselves on fire and launching themselves off cliffs?
Also, can we talk about the casting for Daniel in this show? Because one of the biggest parts of the character in
He's
the
got to
book,
be blonde.
Beautiful, long blonde hair.
And
not long, not like Tamlin.
Like crystal blue eyes.
Yes.
He's supposed to look angelic.
Violet gray.
Oh, you're right. But that's not a real color.
It's not.
So
exactly. And so they just made them blue.
Show Daniel does have blue eyes though, right?
He does.
Okay. Maybe that's why it's confusing me.
But he's bald.
I confused a lot of things with all of this bad content I was consuming. Also, I do just want to bring up Scott Hicks directed the movie.
Okay.
He looks incredible.
Oh.
I don't, not great things that he's done here.
Okay.
But also the worst part is when I clicked on this, there's a to be announced follow-up movies for this movie.
They were
I think we
canceled.
stop.
Yeah,
I think we just don't do that.
They were not.
Fantastic.
They fell out.
That's great.
I think the show is supposed to take over for that, which maybe that's why they're like, again, maybe that is why it is so wildly not the book, because it is all of the books.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know how they're going to tie that all in. Also, in the show, he has like these scars on the back of his back.
Yes.
But it's just one side. And also, the show revolves around this one accident. It's this motorcycle accident that they keep going back to over and over and over again. And you're kind of like, is there a reason we keep going back to this? It's where they're introduced to the doctor that's at the hospital.
Oh, yes,
he takes Daniel and he says, like, I'm going to take you and this will be a safe place for you. You also then find out that when that happens, obviously Luce dies again because they kissed and they're happy, and
every time they kiss, she dies.
In the show, it's like this thing where they were together and like they've been together. So I don't quite understand that. Like there must just be like when they're at their happiest, she dies. I think that's their premise in the show. Whereas if you follow the book, the whole thing is that most of the time they don't even get to kiss in their relationships.
And I think we were forgetting that half of these people are also angels.
Yes.
So there's Gabby, who is this gorgeous blonde girl that is always with Daniel.
Yeah.
And Arian is also a fallen angel. But Gabby and Daniel seem like they're together, and she's so jealous of her.
Yeah.
And
there's also Molly, but she doesn't exist in any of the show or the...
No, she's in the show, and I think they cast the shit out of her in the show. Remember, she's like the gothic girl with the black hair.
Yes.
And all the makeup, and she looks like I would imagine Molly to look.
Yeah, but she's not as big of a character.
And in the show, Molly's just like a big brute who's like the girl that's getting the shit tased out of her when she drives up the thing.
It's a weird dynamic, and she's also like... So I guess... True. So she is similar to book Molly in the sense that she has a relationship with Daniel, but in the show it's like a weird, you're kind of like...
Yeah, and she's supposed to be like Cam's like right hand.
Yes.
We're like, bad. We're for Lucifer.
Yeah.
We love Lucifer.
Yeah. But it's also interesting in the book, they kind of touch on it a little bit, and maybe, again, you might get it more in the second and the third and the fourth and the however many books, is the fact that you can bring someone back from the wrong side, right?
Yes.
So like these are fallen angels, because the whole thing is the concept of Daniel and all the other angels is that you're supposed to love God unconditionally, and he fell in love with a human.
How dare he?
He made the choice to fall from heaven to be with this human woman.
Yes.
And all of these other angels fell with him. And it's like this weird, like they're stuck on earth, they live forever, or they join the devil, and then obviously...
The only way they can get back to God is if Daniel stops loving this human girl.
Yes.
And it's funny too, because you get him, but you don't get how important he is. What's his name? Roland.
Yes.
Roland seems like he's Daniel's best friend.
Yeah, but he's not.
And they are best friends as humans. But Roland is actually one of Lucifer's boys. It's Cam, Molly, and Roland.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's actually pretty cool, We've been down here a while. And it's just like, what is happening? All I wanted was a giant pool inside of a church.
I know.
That's all I wanted.
But you don't get that.
And the pool is so important. You kind of get some hot pool scenes in the movie. A little bit, right?
I mean, ish. You get the lake.
With the lake is also very, very important.
But there's monsters.
There's no monsters in the book, friends.
No. And these are like monsters that have no eyes, or no, sorry. They have eyes, but they have no mouth. It's like that weird. They're like demons, right? But they can like shapeshift, and so they can turn into other people. And that's what's happening in the schools. They're turning into other people. And the doctor that kind of like runs the facility, he had a twin brother who was like trying to come up with a fix for Daniel. This whole thing is like they're trying to help Daniel.
And Daniel doesn't remember her in the beginning in the show.
Which
I'm like, what the
here's okay, so because you didn't get far enough.
I'm not going to.
Right? So the book, that doesn't happen. He remembers. That's his curse, is that he remembers, she forgets. All right. And her whole thing is like, if she can remember on her own, then there's like a better chance that they could actually have more time together. But he can't tell her because then she dies.
Yeah.
So in the show, because after the motorcycle accident, he's in so much pain and he just can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
The doctor helps him forget because then he won't be in pain.
This is amazing.
And so when Luz shows up at the school, he honestly doesn't recognize her because he was treated to forget.
Wow.
So that's part of the plot of the show that is not in the book.
Great.
So like weird twist. But that also adds to the whole weird, like they're both kind of remembering at the same time, which is also bizarre because there's like a fight scene where they're like they're fighting with swords.
No, I just don't understand why every single time there is a boarding school situation, why are they fencing?
I don't know.
They're just fencing,
like
but don't worry because Luce is a master swordswoman in her past lives, so she just really cuts it up, and the teacher's like, what the fuck? You said you've never done this before.
Exactly.
Also,
a natural. She's a fighter. She knows how to fight.
Wait, show us that move again. I do just want to talk about, why do the shadows look, first of all, in the movie.
Yes.
Why do the shadows show up? Like, remember in the Harry Potter movie, the one with the professor whose name I can't remember right now, and he releases all the Cornish pixies, the little blue things?
Yes.
Why is it when the shadows show up?
Isn't he the guy that like is famous and he wants to sell his book?
Why can't I remember his name right now? This is very embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
We are very embarrassed. I'm supposed to be a massive Harry Potter fan. Lockhart, Professor Lockhart.
There we go.
The little pixies that show up for the shadows are like, and you see this little like flying fucking creepy thing. It's like a little fly Cornish pixie, and then the shadows show up, and I'm like, what is this? It's like the director saw Harry Potter the day before. He's like, oh, we're doing it.
That's great.
We're doing it.
That's great. And the shadows in the show are, I mean, they're pretty good shadows. But they touch her almost immediately, and that does not happen until later in the book.
And back to your fencing thing, I'm just still on these shadows and these fencing things. When they're fencing with each other and she's flashing back.
I know.
She's flashing back, to her fighter days.
Are you thinking movie?
I don't remember.
I think it's movie, and then show is like, they're not fencing in the show, they're boxing.
Okay, yes, I'm doing movie. Okay. So they're fencing, and she's having these flashbacks. Why were they on Jack Sparrow's ship?
I don't know.
She's like wearing pantaloons, and she's like, I will save you.
Yes.
Ahoy.
Because she's reincarnated every 17 years.
I mean,
right?
I think honestly, he just watched Pirates of the Caribbean, a little Harry Potter.
Very influenced by movies.
Which I don't hate. And also, Luce talks like she's not even sure she's attached to her body. She's like, hello. Daniel.
Because she's not attached to her body.
No offense to Addison Timlin, but it's like some of the worst acting I've ever seen. I do like Penn and Todd's little relationship.
Yes.
It's so cute.
They had more chemistry than Daniel and Luce.
The paper had more chemistry than Daniel and Luce.
I think that's what makes me so frustrated about the show as well. And besides all the other things, is the fact that like there is no chemistry. But to be fair, there's not a whole lot of chemistry in the book.
It is a YA book, right? And
it is.
And I think we're shitting hard on the movie and the show. I don't think the book is bad.
No, the book is wonderful.
Oh, that's nice of you.
For 12-year-olds.
Okay, wonderful.
It is called Sexy and Fascinating.
By a Mormon?
And scary. I would not use the word sexy to describe this book.
But they moaned.
But they did moan.
And she basically comes in her fucking pants when she's petting his wings in her dream. She's like, Feathers.
I mean, they have a moment, where she calls him Angel, and he really.
Talk about coming in his pants. He's like, "Oh, say it again." What a piece of literature.
She also,
yeah,
she takes part. So I think,
talk to me.
Love never dies. That's kind of the point.
Apparently, neither does this bitch. So I do just want to say, watch it or read it. I said you should listen to the audiobook while you're reading the book and have the movie on one screen and then the show on the other, and then you should set yourself on fire.
Yeah.
And that's how you should consume it. But I'm going to dial it back a little bit. That was a barrel rush. I think I don't know if I'm going to read the rest of the series, but here's where my head is.
Yeah.
Don't watch a fucking thing that has to do with this thing. It's just trash. If I watch the show, though, not having read the book, I might enjoy it because I love I love a boarding school. I kind of love that vibe.
Yeah.
There was that other series that is German. What is that? Maxim Hall?
Maxim Hall. That is.
So, I think I like.
Okay, that is sexy. This is
dry humping your pillow.
This is not even that.
Don't watch anything.
This is kissing the bedpost.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. So I'm saying read it if you have to. Gun to the head, read it.
I mean, I think I would say read it audiobook. And you could do it on 2.0 speed and you're fine. You're not a serial killer.
That's what I did.
You're not a serial
killer. I only do 2.0 speed.
It is hilarious, though, if you try to slow it down.
That's what always happens because everyone's like, you're insane. How do you do that? And I'm usually like 2.0 to 2.3.
Yeah.
I've tried 2.5. That's a little tough for me. 2.0, I was like, I'm not getting through this quick enough.
Yeah.
2.5?
Yeah.
Too much. 2.3, I can live there. Yeah. For this one, I'm just going to say I was thinking the whole time watching the movie, what in the seventh layer of hell happened to Dayelle that she enjoyed this movie? Yeah. I do want you guys to know she said that she watched the movie multiple times.
I did. Here's the thing. When did the movie come out?
2016, Dayelle. That wasn't that long ago.
Okay. So 2016, what was happening?
Let's see what movies came out in 2016 to compare to.
2016.
Because if this was like Twilight Central, I kind of get it. It lives in that world for us.
So I was nannying at that point.
Oh, you've told me about that journey.
I think that there were times where the babies would be sleeping and I would just put something on.
You have to.
For just background noise, and I think that is when I watched this movie for the first time, and then I watched it again, and then I gotta be honest with you,
not many good movies came out in 2016.
No, I don't really remember that time being a year of,
I mean, nothing came out.
Epic movies.
I mean, truly nothing.
I don't know.
I don't blame
you
you now.
Masterpiece. I think it.
I know. I agree with you. Yeah. I think every person should have to watch it.
You know how Netflix will stream movies and they'll have some movies they'll keep for quite some time. You can really watch them for a while. This one was on and then taken off. I swear within a matter of a week.
And then when it came back, you're like, oh my gosh, I remember that. And then you watched it again. I get that. I've done that a lot.
So to be fair, I probably have only actually sat and watched the movie one full time, but I have definitely put it on.
She's lying. She's got a sword and cross tattoo.
Maybe 3 times.
She's got a sword and cross tattoo.
I do. I would say read it if you have nothing else to read.
Listen, the whole series could be great. We haven't finished it.
And I would say do audio. Don't physically with your eyeballs read it because you probably won't get through it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think if you can listen to it while you're doing other things, it's a good, I can multitask really well while listening to this book. So, so on that note, until next time.
What a treat.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
This was a good one.
This was fun.
Okay, bye.
And bye.